Let the word go
The
forth.
challenge, the opportunity to connect. The 1960s, a time of imagination and change, a time of anger and fear. The 1960s, a pioneering program called Challenge
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
that looked at our connections, our divisions, through the lens of shared values.
For something real.
60 years later, we examine our divisions, our connections, our shared pains and successes in a new program called Challenge 2.0. Ukraine committed to assisting U.S. forces in the Middle East shortly after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. As recently as 2021, Ukrainian Special Forces rescued Western translators from Afghanistan as the U.S. military was withdrawing and stated that such a mission would be too risky. Ukraine requested no reward, no payback for its assistance. Just 4 years later, however, the Trump administration is demanding payback for supporting Ukraine against invading Russian forces. It also is considering deporting close to 250,000 Ukrainian refugees from this country. In this episode, then, of Challenge 2.0, we discuss this shift in allegiance with two leaders of the Ukrainian-American community in our state who share their perspectives and concerns. So we're very fortunate today to have with us Tanya Zayka, who's a board member of the Ukrainian Association of Washington State. Tanya, good to have you with us again. I think it was a couple of years ago that you were here and did a program.
Yes, 1 year after the full-scale invasion started, you had me come in. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Well, thank you. And we have Father Andriy Matlak, and you are from the Holy Trinity Ukrainian Orthodox Church, and I think that's in Seattle.
We are renting space from Epiphany of Seattle for many years, for decades actually at this point. And they were open-heartedly, open their doors and hearts to our parish, and we since almost for 70 years we've been there.
Well, that's a long
worshiping
history.
Together, yes.
Well, that leads very nicely into our first question, and I'd like to ask just both of you, how did your path lead you from Ukraine to the Pacific Northwest to the United States in general? Tanya, I might ask you that question first, and then Father Andriy.
So my mom, in about 1990, I was a teenager, and she said, "We're going to America, kids." She's always looking in pursuit of happiness and better opportunities for us and for the family. And she took me and my little sister, and we just moved to America. We didn't know where we were going. They gave us an envelope before we left Ukraine. They said, "Do not open the envelope and until you land in the United States." We landed in New York. We opened the envelope, and it said, "You're going to Tennessee." All right. I didn't know where Tennessee was. We were looking to how to get to the airplane on the Tennessee, and then this person said, "Oh, wrong envelope." So they gave us another envelope, and it said, "You're going to Seattle." So we arrived in Seattle around 1992, and that's the beginning of my American story. I've been here ever since. Went to University of Washington, worked for a few companies. Right now, work for a credit card processing company, and this is my second home.
Father Andriy, what was your journey like from Ukraine to the Pacific Northwest?
Oh, it took a long time because as I answered a call to become a priest in 2004, I was studying in a seminary in Ukraine at that time in Ivano-Frankivsk region. And when I was in the third year of the seminary, our hierarchs came from here. Archbishop at that time, he was bishop-elect Daniel, and he was selecting people or students to America to study here, actually under the jurisdiction of Ukrainian Orthodox Church in USA. So my path in America started at 2007, and then after 6 years of studying in the seminary, this is my first parish, mission parish, that was I was sent to, and actually funny story. During the time when I was studying, actually we had a work to do the research on the parishes that you would like to work with youth, or maybe where would you like to work. And the first Western travel with Archbishop Daniel was actually Seattle, and I love it. I mean, I loved the city over the ocean, around the mountains, and I was like, oh, that would probably be a good place to do something. And so then later on, when I was finishing the school, Bishop approached me and he said, what would you like? Would you consider maybe going to Seattle? And that's how I actually started to talk with him, that explaining this. And then I said, of course, yes. And I was here in Northwest since 2013.
Tell us a little bit about the nature of your connection that you maintain with people who are still in Ukraine. And Tanya, perhaps you could talk about that. I know you've been active, and I've seen you at some of the programs that you've done.
I think the start of the full invasion, a full-scale invasion, magnified my connection to Ukraine in a very different way. I was always connected to Ukraine in spirit. I visited. I tried to support our culture, Ukrainian culture, within my family and in the community here in Seattle. But in 2022, it became a completely different thing. So I became a volunteer for the military in Ukraine, for children and displaced families who are in Ukraine. So families who had to leave the areas of heavy bombings and heavy fighting, and who had to move to safer areas of Ukraine. There's no safe areas in the whole country. The whole country gets bombed on regular basis, but some areas are more dangerous than others. And although I realize humans are more important than animals, my very special place in my heart is for animals. So I dedicate part of my work and the funds that I raise to animal rescue. And there's 4 animal rescues in Ukraine who evacuate animals, abandoned animals from heavy fighting zones, cats, dogs, horses, and relocate them into safer areas or try to find them homes outside of Ukraine.
Father, you must have a real balancing act, because you have members of your church community, your faith community, who are living here, but they have families over in Ukraine. Tell us a little bit about the challenges of what you face in supporting them and also supporting their families over there.
Oh, spiritual life is very important to Ukrainians. We have a saying even that without God you cannot even overstep your threshold of your house. So before you do anything, you pray. Before you do anything, you ask God for help. And the approach that the church is taking to be, as our Lord said in one of the commandments, blessed are those who are merciful. So we have to approach that with the people who are here, especially those who are newcomers, also to help them to integrate in the society, to work together, so they don't forget what's happening there as well. And they would, and as we helping here, automatically that has influence on the people in Ukraine. And we trying to work with Pani Tatiana, with all the organizations in here as well in the community, to not just talking, but asking for help. And it was since the beginning of the war. We approached the doctors or the hospitals or firefighters or police districts to help Ukrainians with anything. And the importance of spiritual life is, of course, that you touch the spirit, the soul, but also psychologically it helps to support those people so they don't feel abandoned here or even abroad. And we have people, families who came here and who have families all over the world, because some of them got moved from the occupied territories. Some of them are still there, and we have a lot of parishioners who have family members, and my own family. On my wife's side, they have family members who are in occupation right now, and they can't do anything. We cannot even talk to them to have connection with them or to know what's happening. And that's thousands of people who deal with this on daily basis, not only time to time, but it's on a daily basis.
In recognition of some of the work you do within the community, both within your faith community but beyond that, I think you had a surprise call from the FBI one time. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it was a surprise, quite a surprise. And then I spoke even when I came to the office here, that I thought it was a scam or something, that they were phishing email or something. But that was in recognition of what we did as a community, as a parish, because it was not only done by me, but the entire parish family, what they did. It was big travel for me, and I have parishioners actually who joined me, and hierarchs who came for that moment too, when I was receiving that award from the hands of FBI director at that time. And it was moving, because again, it was a surprise, and that was not my intention to work for anything like that, because as a priest, there's no time, right? We work 24/7. I always say to my parishioners, you can call me at night or whatever you feel like you need to talk. But that was also as a recognition that we're doing something right, that we are touching the hearts not only of Ukrainian people, but also here in community, that we are actually supported by the government or the agencies here in the United States.
An experience when your country of origin is at war, is under attack, would be difficult under any circumstances, but we've definitely seen that over the past couple of months. And I'm thinking back to February 28th, I believe it was, when President Zelensky came to the White House and had a meeting that went very different than I think any people expected. He was in shock over the reception he received from President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Much of Europe seemed to be in shock. What I'd like to do is just pause a moment, and we're going to run a little video from that meeting just to help set the next stage of our conversation. So we'll just put that up right now.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine, and we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time, and very well. Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have? Everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean. And don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering
position
on
to
this question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I was
You don't have
saying-
the cards right now.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today,
have you said thank
even
you?
today.
You went
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
So, having seen that video again, probably for too many times, Tanya, I'd ask you, what was your reaction when you first saw that?
Well, shock is a good description. Embarrassment. What happened is not what you would see in any administration office or any respectful setting. It reminded me of something I would imagine in it reminded me of a bullying situation that adolescents would do. And I actually showed my children. I have some high school age children, college age children. I showed them this is what a bullying scenario looks like. So what we saw is obviously President Zelensky is in a position where he has to ask for help, and President Trump and Vice President Vance treated him as with so much disrespect, and it felt like the decision whether to help or not was based on flattery and how much he would praise, and it was not about doing right or wrong. It was about pleasing on a personal level the people you came to ask for help. And to me, it was very shameful to see, and a message that it sent to the rest of the world is that decisions are made for other countries, for other agreements, for honoring other contracts on government levels. It's not about honesty or doing the right thing. It's about flattery of our president. You have to look a certain way. Why are you not wearing a suit?
So what was your second
And
question?
my second question for President Zelensky, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you, do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I
the
don't have
dignity of this
such-
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like this?
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our president is wearing what he's wearing, what resembles army fatigues, in solidarity of his army, of his soldiers who are fighting for the freedom and existence of his country. Right. This is his image. His image is not about wearing an expensive suit. His image is he is with his men who are in the trenches. So why aren't you wearing a suit? Do you own a suit? No, come on. Who says that? And another coming from Vice President Vance, did you say a thank you? We, as Ukrainians, President Zelensky as our leader, said thank you millions of times. We realize how much United States is helping Ukraine.
Dear Americans, in all states, cities, and communities, all those who value freedom and justice, who cherish it as strongly as we Ukrainians, in all our cities, in each
and every family. I hope my words of respect and gratitude resonate in each American heart. Madam Vice President, I thank you for your efforts in helping Ukraine. Madam Speaker, you bravely visited Ukraine during the full-fledged war. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you.
And we are very thankful, and we express it on every possible occasion. Even here in Seattle, every time we have a rally or we have celebration of Ukrainian Independence Day, we make sure that American anthem is sung. We make sure we have American flags. We make sure we have representatives from American leadership together. So by no means we are not thankful. But to answer in a short way, I was embarrassed for how American leadership was behaving towards somebody who came to ask for help.
Father Andrei, I'd ask you not only your personal reaction, but what do you hear from members of your church community?
Not happy. Nobody would. I mean, because as we say, war is a time not only to grieve, but the war is time to, with a huge understanding that this is when you don't pick sides, you actually on the side of evil or on the dark or light, because the war is the fight in the spiritual level and also on the physical, more on the physical. As a church, we're praying for the governments to open their minds so they can see and they can serve those people with understanding of what's happening. What people saw, what they expressed, as Pani Tatiana said, it was shocking. It was not taking lightly as well, because a lot of people, I received immediately a lot of calls from people. What's happening? What's happening right now? And not only from here, I received calls abroad from people like, what is this? As Pani Tatiana said, the leaders of the world express immediately that we're supporting Ukraine, we're helping, we're trying our best to our best of our ability. And that's what the people are asked of me as well. Like, I know that I cannot influence anything, but they looked for that answer. They were trying to reach and ask what, and simply as I said, we are keeping on praying for the governments or those who are in charge of governments.
The attitude that was expressed, it's been described as what's in it for us by the U.S. administration, seems to fly in the face of what is still fairly recent history after the 9/11 attacks that we had in New York and at the Pentagon and the attempted one in Pennsylvania. Ukraine was among the early nations to commit aid in a variety of different levels, including military people. And I don't believe there was any demand for payback on the part of Ukraine after that. Am I missing something, or was there a very different response there?
No, you're completely right. When it comes to these types of situations of solidarity with your allies, you don't ask what's in it for me. Even when President Trump keeps saying incorrect numbers of United States help provided to Ukraine, he inflates the numbers. I want to say he keeps saying 300-something billion, but it's about 160 billion. A lot of that money is, I'm answering what's in it for us. A lot of that money stays in United States. A lot of that money is United States is not just giving money, cash to Ukraine. A lot of that money is for weaponry. A lot of American weapons, old weapons, are being sent to Ukraine weapons that have been written off, that are no longer useful to United States defense. They're being sent to Ukraine, and new modern weapons are being manufactured in United States to replenish those stockpiles. So what's in it for United States besides doing the right thing is new jobs are being created, United States weaponry being modernized. So there's many different levels of what's in it for us. And I think to me personally, to me, honor and your word is all you have. If you don't have trust in your word, you have nothing. I'm a handshake type of person. So for United States to honor their word, to honor their promise of doing the right thing, that's all the main thing. What's in it for United States is still being respected, and being respected for being trusted, and standing on the right side of humanity, of history.
As I listen to both of you recounting your experiences and what people are experiencing in Ukraine and those that have come to the United States, it's apparent that there's so much more that we could talk about, and you've graciously agreed to stick around, talk some more. So we're going to break this into a second episode. So next week we hope you'll join us again for the second part of this discussion here on Challenge 2.0. Thank you.